today, another reaction video to Ninjago. How long have you two been digging? That's a humongous pit to have for just two snakes to dig. And also, why are you digging? Shouldn't you be like burrowing under the ground? Wouldn't that just be a lot faster? Now these two snakes are looking for the lost city of Ouroboros. It looks like Python may or may not have found it. Now after flipping up that switch, all the sand just, decreases down, which makes no sense, but I'm guessing it's because the city level is rising. And also, why was it invented like this? Like, who flipped the switch to make the city sink underground? Welcome to the city of Ouroboros, as known as Snake City, which will be important for, I think, in Season 1 and a little bit of Season 2, and then it's completely forgotten about. Like everything else in Ninjago. And here comes the Mailgun Man. Again, dude, find a better job!
Too late.
Now Lloyd's boasting about how he could defeat the Serpentine. Unfortunately, the ninja's telling him, no, you cannot defeat the Serpentine. They will crush, hypnotize you, or try to eat you, like you almost were once eating. Do you remember that, Lloyd? No? Okay. Now Wu answers the most important question, how to defeat the snake, with the sacred food that the four ninjas lost. And Jay reminds us that, hey, Python stole that food, and then proceeds to crush it after the episode ends. And they're still talking about the Green Ninja and full potential. Yeah, this kind of gets boring and lame after a while. Like, it's a cool little thing, like, oh, who's going to be the Green Ninja? It has to be one of the ninjas, but when you realize who it's going to be, it's straight out. And Lloyd's wondering what's in the box, which is also new ninja uniforms. Unlike the other ninjas that got cool uniforms, all Lloyd got was a box. Master Wu, be a better uncle. Give your nephew an actual present. After realizing the Serpentine is attacking like amusement park, Lloyd begs them to take him with you. Master Wu says this is not a good idea and you need to stay behind for your own safety. Unfortunately, the ninjas arrive a little bit too late. The samurai has already swept in and done the job for them, and everyone is wondering who the new samurai is, and are they hot? Hi Nia, what are you doing here? Weren't you supposed to be at the Destiny's Bounty? No? Oh, so it's too unsafe for your nephew to come along, but it's A-okay for you to come on, Master Wu. Hey, go give your nephew a present, or I don't know, maybe that cotton candy you're holding in your hand? Your horrible uncle. Okay, what's the point of Nia even telling them that there's multiple snake sightings if she's just gonna go and clean up the ninja's job before they even get there? Jay, you're an idiot. You're dumb. Unfortunately, we know the samurai is gonna save you because guess what? That's your girlfriend. And because Kai doesn't want to babysit Lloyd because he's too enamored by who the samurai is, he leaves Lloyd at a arcade. And Lloyd overhears the Serpentine talking about the lost city of Ouroboros and how Python found it. There's gonna be a fight. Lloyd's $1 billion smart move is, hey, I'm gonna disguise myself as a snake. Why do you need the rattles? I think the rattles are just gonna get you caught, Lloyd. And somehow none of the snakes realize, hey, that's a shitty ass disguise. This is where Python gets fed up by all the other generals, because he's like, hey, I tried to reunite us and you guys fell for dumbass rumors that weren't even true. So I'm gonna fight you and steal you guys' staff and be your leader. Python quickly gives up and just decides to use the flute to easily win, instead of, actually fighting for the glory. Of course they're gonna detect you, Lloyd. That's a horrible disguise. Why are you even using it? This is where Master Wu finally realizes, hey, maybe a bunch of teenagers should not be raising my nephew. Maybe I should be raising my nephew, but he's not actually gonna do that. So Zane hacked the security cameras and realized, hey, Lloyd went after the Serpentine. And the ninja's idea is, hey, how about we just run into this entire field of Serpentine? Like, there's gonna be no traps. You all are idiots. Somehow, between the last time we saw Nia to now, she somehow got herself captured. And somehow, all her gadgets could not free her from this weird old cage. Unfortunately, the samurai is not gonna mess around and gonna beat the ninjas to death. Please stop using the tornado creation. I know this happens in the pilot. I know you guys have the power. Please stop using it. It makes no sense. It's way too OP. And honestly, in later seasons, you guys never use it again. And also, the idea was to make a slingshot. Where did you guys get the material to make a slingshot? Okay, who built the city of Ouroboros, and why does it have these all gadgets and gizmos? Like, this is seriously like a death trap. This must have been actually a fighting arena. Now this is this time the samurai finally tells him, hey, we're on the same side, let's escape together. Unfortunately, they're too heavy, and the samurai's gonna drop down and get the golden weapons. Well, Pytho's gonna be eating good tonight. And this is finally where Kai realizes, hey, the samurai is his sister. No duh, the samurai is his sister. She disappeared at the same time the samurai disappears. And she appears when the same time the samurai disappears. How did you not figure this out? Now Kai's telling them all about the samurai and how he gave them back the golden weapons and not keeping the samurai's identity a secret. Kai, you suck at keeping secrets. This is where Master Wu is gonna go and tell Nia, hey, I know you're the samurai. Good job today. Now, let's side changes before we move on to the next episode. I kept blanking out on this episode for so many times. I kept forgetting what happened and what to say. It's so strange. Now on to a much better episode of Ninjago. I'm not saying I hated the last episode. I just kept forgetting what I was saying, like I said before. And this is where we start with clocks and gears. That's actually a cool thing to see. And we also see a timer. And for some reason, Zane has beaten his record. He's been underwater for 10 minutes. I think that boy is dead. And this is where we see Zane vibing and petting a fish. Dude, what are you, Aquaman? Now this is where we get told of each ninja and how they got a lot stronger during the past days. Jade, that is very dangerous. You should not be doing that even if you're the lightning ninja. And this is where we find Ru mourning for his nephew, even though he's the one that led him to be captured. And this is where Cole finally decides to ask the $1 billion question, how do we know if we reach our full potential? And Ru's like, you reached your physical full potential. The full potential is inside you. You just have to find the key. Where's the key? I'm not going to tell you. You just have to find it. Now, this is where Ru finally tells the ninjas about Garmadon and his path and how they were brother and friends. And this is where the ninjas are like, wait, you guys were friends? Yes, they lived together. Of course they were friends. When they were young, Wu and Garmadon were training with their katanas, and Wu accidentally loses his katana. Garmadon says, hey, go get your katana. Wu looks at the wall and says, no, I'm not getting it. So Garmadon decides to climb the wall and get his katana. While he was doing that, he got bitten by a great evil snake, which was called the Great Devourer, which also, for some reason, every time he eats something, it just grows more. Why? And now the Garmadon's evil, and for some reason, his eyes flash red. Why does his eyes flash red to signify that he's evil? Now this is where the Wu leads the ninjas to go find his brother that can help them. Why did you assume that your brother's gonna help you? He could just murder you. Ain't he evil? Now this is where Pytho just casually stares at a wall and a table to figure out the decipher clue of where the 4 fang blades are. I like how the ninjas put a missing poster for the Fang Blade and not for Lloyd. That's how much you know these ninjas actually care about that kid. And for some reason, Zane has weird force powers and be able to sense that board. Hey, what's up with Zane and his board in these earlier seasons? It's never explained or elaborated on. It just happens. And the ninjas followed the board for a very, very long time. How far were they running? And while they're running, they keep losing a ninja. You see this sign? Yeah, this sign is definitely important, but they have no clue what Treehorn is. They just believe it's a myth. And this is where we lose Kai, because he's out of breath. And this is where Zane finally realizes that the bud that he's been following is a robot. Okay, one question I have. Okay, we know this robot was created by the same man that created Zane. How do you not recognize Zane? I think it's because maybe it has something to do with his, gear. Maybe it couldn't do facial recognition, but honestly I would find it strange that it didn't recognize Zane's weird power source inside of it. Now Zane finally realizes that the bird and the machine has this weird symbol, so he looks around and also finds the weird symbol on a tree. So he goes inside of it and finds this weird cool little base thing. After Zane fixed the bird, he decides to look around more and finds the little blueprints telling him that yes, he is indeed a robot. Now this is where we get introduced to the lovely Misaki. Yes, she is important, and yes, she is definitely mysterious, but you won't learn why she's mysterious until, season 10. Now, instead of Zane keeping the secret that he's a robot, he just outright tells his friends. And at first they're shocked, but later on they're just, super cool about it and tell him, hey, nothing between us is gonna change. You're still a brother, and guess what? You're a lot cooler now. You're like a ninjoid. Well, now we finally realize why the funny switch was turned off. Even though the ninjas told saying that, hey, guess what? We still love you even if you're a ninja. Zane just kind of wants to be left alone right now. And this is where the ninjas hear a very strange noise. Oh my god, the ninjas are getting brutally murdered by these tree horns. Oh my god, these tree horns are so OP. Also, what is a tree horn? They're just like these weird beings. I need more explanations of what these mystical creatures are. And this is where Zane finally realizes, hey, he has a memory switch that was really turned off. So this is where Zane gets flashbacks of all his time with him and his adventure. And it's so sweet and so cool, and I would love to play this until it ends, but I feel like I won't be able to. Now Zane through his life watches his mentor grow old and finally die. But before his mentor dies, he turns off his memories so that Zane can live a normal life. Oh my god! Zane just wakes up and finds a dead body. Zane, what did you do to that dead body? Did you just bury it? He just woke up and says, there's a dead man. I have no memory of who he is or why I'm here, but I guess I'm gonna go bury this random body and go live out my life. Zane finally decides to jump in after realizes his friends were brutally murdered by the tree horns. And now the queen of tree horns has finally showed up, but Zane says, you're not gonna hurt my friends. I know who I am. And has unlocked his full potential. And Zane's sad theme song is playing, and this theme song is gonna play for every time there's a fake out death for Zane. Stop killing Zane off. Python finally realizes that wasn't talking about the 5 Fang tribes getting together. It's talking about the 5 staffs being together to reveal this dumb little map. Now we finally figure out where Wu went. Wu finally used the Traveler's Tree and teleported himself to where the hell he banished Garmadon to. Yes, he's the one that banished Garmadon. After this episode, maybe Saturday, I'll do that short episode talking about how Garmadon ended up here. But yes, it was 100% Wu's fault. Now, again, I must tell you all to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And also Friday is the Bungo Stray Dogs video, so keep an eye out for that.